little girl who keeps being raped by Satan. I don't know who to tell or even how to say this. I'm a professional psychiatrist, and I have my own small firm, just me and a female receptionist. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I've dealt with many different types of people and many problems, and I've managed to help them in the best way I could. I'm a good listener, and solving problems is something I've always taken pleasure in. It was just like any other day. I was in my office doing some paperwork when I noticed a little girl in the corner of my room. She had black eyes, and she was wearing a white dress. I was surprised that I didn't hear her come through the door or make any noise. My receptionist didn't say anything about this little girl. The little girl said to me, "I need your help. Satan keeps raping me." And as she said that, I honestly didn't know what to think. This little girl went on to say how she is Satan's daughter, and how he rapes her in hell. I became worried for her, and I asked her about her parents. She didn't answer. I left my office to tell my receptionist about this little girl, and when I went back into the room, she had vanished. I had no idea how she could have just disappeared like that. I went home, and she was constantly on my mind. I thought to myself how much help that little girl desperately needs. I live in my own flat since divorcing from my wife. As I went to bed and closed my eyes, I could hear a faint voice saying, "Satan rapes me." And when I opened my eyes, the little girl was right there in my room. It was at that moment I knew she was different, and it was then that I started to believe her. The way she seemed to disappear and reappear made me slightly worried for my own sanity. The little girl with the black eyes looked sad and really sounded like she needed my help. "Please help me," the little girl would say to me. I wouldn't know where to begin. "So you're Satan's daughter, yes? How many children does he have?" I asked. "Quite a few, but his favorite is talked about the most, and you humans have made films about his favorite son," she replied. The Antichrist, I presumed. I really, honestly didn't know how to help her. Even though this little girl claimed to be raped by Satan, her so-called father, she seemed fine compared to most of the incest or rape victims that I've seen in the past. I decided to be a friend to her for a while and treat her as a good father would. I tried teaching her to play the piano, and I took her to the movies, but she was always so random. Sometimes she would appear out of nowhere and then disappear, which made my job harder in trying to help her, but honestly, I really didn't know how to help her. First of all, she is Satan's daughter, and how do I go on about taking Satan on? These visions had me feeling like a fool. They seemed to be increasing by the day. I would try to contemplate what was really going on each and every night. The little girl would appear and go on about hell and the terrible things that goes on down there. To hear such a little girl say these things was quite disturbing. I gave her advice to run away, but she said that Satan always finds her. And she was always saying all of this as she was drawing pictures of Satan torturing her. I knew in my heart that I couldn't really help her. She would come to me claiming to want my help whenever she gets raped, but at the end of each day, she would speak endlessly of how God hates the both of them, the little girl for being Satan's child, and Satan for being Satan. Being of such a family isn't going to get you on God's good side. I couldn't take it anymore. She would come in and tell me all the disgusting things Satan does to her, and feeling useless, I finally decided to hypnotize her into loving sleeping with her father, Satan. I felt so ashamed. But hypnotism is very real and powerful, and over the course of 6 months I used intense hypnotic suggestion on the little girl, as I couldn't find any other solution to help her. And telling social services that a girl who claims to be Satan's daughter is being raped by him won't go down very well with them, if they even believe me at all. She never came back after the hypnosis fully worked. I couldn't believe I hypnotized a demon. A couple weeks later, after that shameful and desperate event, a man walked into my office, claiming to be Satan, the very same man who raped his daughter. He came to thank me for hypnotizing his daughter into loving what he does to her. I felt disgusted and vile and wanted to puke. I felt powerless, and Satan's cocky attitude towards me, it made me furious, but his vile red eyes put me off trying to attack him. He was fat, greasy, and that smile of his was nothing if not pure evil. I became depressed at what I had done, and I still had feelings that something wasn't right with me. I felt as though something else was there that I had not seen. I had decided to hypnotize myself by using the mirror trick. The mirror trick is where you hypnotize yourself or any other sufferer of mental illness, and you will hypnotize them or yourself into seeing the sane, calm side of themselves in the mirror. The sane version of yourself in the mirror will try to help you to realize that you're insane or crazy and help you to get better. I did exactly that. I hypnotized myself, telling myself that my calmer and more rational thinking side would be in the mirror, and it was then that my reflection started talking, telling me to snap the fuck out of it, and that my job as a psychiatrist had made me lose it, as is quite common in this profession. One who deals with the mind risks sometimes losing their own. And though I refused to believe it, but my reflection said, the little girl was a victim, and you just let her go. You even met her father who rapes her. They are not from hell. They are human beings. The father probably likes to be called Satan, you idiot. And how did she slip in and out of your office so easily? And how did the father get in just as easily? I think you need to change the receptionist. My sane and forward-thinking reflection told me this, and I couldn't take it anymore, and in a rage, I shattered the mirror with my fists. The receptionist must have played a part in this, I thought. As to how she allowed them to come in, perhaps it was when I was not in the best possible mindset. She didn't call the authorities, and I couldn't find the little girl or her father anymore. What have I done? I have since left this business. I still haven't figured out how the little girl vanished and appeared. And what about their eyes? Were they really black? Or could it just be that I am the one who is insane?